Hey guys, welcome back to Tier List with me, where I'm going to be doing a sports tier list today. Now, today we got a special episode going on because a lot of you in the comments have been requesting an unedited and unscripted version of the show, so that's what I will be doing today. Now, if you'll excuse me a moment, this is a part I normally cut out, but it's unedited. I just gotta get all ready and prepared. Alright. Archery. Personally, I really like archery, but at an Olympic level, it is incredibly boring to watch because they all have this weird air bow stuff, and they have the rope and whatever. It's pretty boring, and I will have to consider Olympic level archery for this, just because I think of it. Therefore, I have to put it B tier. Sorry to do that to you, archery. Great sport, great way to pass the time. Baseball is it's pretty boring. As one of four of America's favorite pastimes, the other three in this order being watching movies, eating, and sleeping, baseball is definitely the most boring of them all. So I'll have to put that in a C tier. Not quite D tier. Basketball is pretty cool. You got the slam dunks, A tier for LeBron James. This BMX slash bicycle tricking. Now, when I go for a walk to my park, and I see these bicyclists doing their stunts, their jumps, their flips. It just makes me so angry that they're crowding up my walking space. Also, when you're driving, they always get in your road. They act like they own the road. Therefore, F tier. Bowling takes a lot of skill to do. Personally, I'm not that good, but if you're watching it at a competitive professional level, then they just hit strikes every time because that's what they do. And you know what to expect, really. Just an F tier. I'll actually put it in D tier because it doesn't actually make me angry to have to watch it, unlike Bicyclist. Boxing is pretty cool most of the time. Sometimes you get those fights where they just kind of stand there, but a lot of times you just get some good fighting. So I'm gonna have to put it A tier. Cricket, no one knows how to play cricket. F tier. Running isn't a sport to say. I would say it's more of an athletic activity. It does require a lot of skill though. So I'm gonna have to put a D tier because there's really nothing to watch, in my opinion. You just watch a bunch of guys run around. Bicyclist, bicyclist, man, oh my god. Dodgeball, easily S tier. Gym time comes around, and you're really not having the best day. Then everyone says, "Oh, let's play some dodgeball," and then the gym teacher says, "All right, you kids, you've been good. Here's some dodgeball. Let's go wild." And then you play some dodgeball and you have a great time. But now that I'm thinking of it, you always got that group of kids, maybe one, maybe two, who always just sit in the back and do nothing, which eventually leads to a stalemate, as in you can't hit them because they're all the way in the back of the gym. So I am going to have to move dodgeball down to an A tier. Unfortunately, for that one sole reason, you know who you are. Fencing, it's an art form. It's very. It's like a dance between two skilled opponents, more so than a sport, I would say. Although very fun, very cool to watch, I think. But the rounds could be a bit longer. Like maybe be more entertaining, guys. C tier. Football, it's football, guys. What else is there to say? To a newcomer, it's kind of hard to understand what's going on. Um, and for that reason, I will not be able to put it in S tier. I will have to keep it at A tier with dodgeball, basketball, and boxing. Golf, golf's just boring. You don't even get to cheer. D tier. Dance, hmm. I mean, it's the best sport that you could use to see what a person's really like, because you can really express yourself in this. But I personally prefer fencing. Also, dance is kind of boring most of the time. Like you watch it, the first five people do it, and then you realize there are 50 more competitors who do the exact same thing. Now, hockey. By the way, dance is in D tier. D for dance. Hockey, when you're watching it on TV, at least for me, because I'm not a very experienced hockey watcher, you can't find the puck. You know what I'm saying? And if you're not hip with the lingo of the announcers, you're not going to know who has the puck. Although, very fun to watch. They also have some fights sometimes. I'm going to put it in C tier. Figure skating, it's kind of boring, in my opinion. Too boring. This is that wall game where you like chuck it at the wall and you gotta catch it. This game's awesome. S tier. Hand-eye coordination has to be awesomeness level. High action, high fastness. Very cool. I think this is. I want to say Judo. I played that in Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, so I gotta put that in a B tier. Kendo. I think this is Kendo. I mean, kind of like fencing, but worse. So I'm gonna have to put this at a high D tier. Actually, upper mid D tier. What is this? Oh, what is this? Kickboxing? Some kind of kickboxing. There's UFC down here. Oh, the MMA. There's MMA down here. There's boxing here. I don't know what this is, so I'm gonna put it in F tier. What's this? Lacrosse. The dribbling system in lacrosse is kind of silly, I think. Because I mean, what's the point really? Um, Also, we play it at gym instead of playing dodgeball, so it's going to go in C tier. Table tennis is a lot of fun. Anyone can play it within like 10 minutes of practice, even less than 5 minutes of practice. You could play with your family, you could play with your friends, or you could play with that one guy who's really good at it. I'm going to have to put table tennis, also known as whiff waff, in S tier for slap shot. That's the move you do in table tennis. Billiards, also known as pool or 8-ball for you young folk out there. I mean, it's cool and all, but again, it's kind of like the same thing with bowling, for me at least, but I think this is better than bowling because it's not the same exact situation every single time, and you have to adapt to where you are. So I'm going to put that B tier because it does take quite a bit of skill, especially with spin manipulation and things of the sort, ball positioning. Rugby, worst football, B tier. Sailing, I mean, not really good to watch. Again, not an F tier because F tier is for angry. Angers. Angers me. I mean, you can't even tell what's going on unless you're a boat sailor. Besides that, oh, they're going faster, they're going slower. So that gotta go in D tier. Maybe the worst out of everything. Badminton. This game is pretty fun. You also play this in gym sometimes if you go to school. And if you do and you're watching this, go study. Badminton, I really like it a lot. It's kind of just tennis but better in my opinion. Not as good as Whiff Waff though, so I'm gonna have to put it at A tier, above. Yeah, just not as good as table tennis, I don't think, but still so much fun to play. Skateboarding, I don't know. I mean, it's cool and all. Better than running, better than kendo, better than bowling. Not as good as lacrosse though. I'll put it at high D because you're not really competing with anyone in the same sense you are with all of these other ones. It's not like a direct competition between teams or individuals, except for archery. Um, I don't know. Skateboarding is really cool though. They're cool guys. Skiing, like come on. You can only practice skiing certain times of the year unless you have a fake snow place or an indoor skiing place. So just gotta put that in D tier for that. Snowboarding, skateboarding, but worse. All the way down there. Soccer, I think this is probably the worst of the core sports, those being baseball, football, basketball, tennis, and of course soccer. Um, Mainly because it's just running. You also have to pass a lot in order to find an opening. Not really that much high action. It's more of set up and then a small burst of high action, and then they score, and then you have to wait 5 minutes before they start playing again. D tier. Swimming. I mean, it's good to watch, but like again, it's not something that you can understand how they do it. Like with small boats or not small, like with sailing, like you can't really even see these guys. Though that's the thing. Sure, everyone knows how to swim, and and sure we can swim fast. And we can understand how we do that, but it's just not there for me. It's got to go D tier. Better than soccer though. I'm assuming this is Taekwondo or Jiu-Jitsu. What is it? I think it's Taekwondo. I'm not sure though. It's just based off of a point system. Therefore, it is bad. Tennis is just running back and forth. Same thing as soccer, just running. Um, it's cool to watch sometimes, which I'll give it to you. It's better than golf. And snowboarding and Kendo. What is this? Long distance? No, this is distance. This is like a sprint, I presume, or like a dash around the track. I don't know. Same thing. Oh wait, if this is long distance, then it's just boring to watch because you just walk them all. You watch them jog for an hour. Frisbee? I'm assuming this is ultimate frisbee and not frisbee golf. Frisbee golf would be the same as golf, probably a little bit higher because you could. It's just cooler, I think. Um, but if this is ultimate, it's definitely better than rugby. I'll tell you that. I really like ultimate frisbee. Fun to play. Rules are simple. You just throw a frisbee. You don't need to know how to throw a fancy football. Volleyball. Um, I'm not a big fan of volleyball, mainly because if you're on a team of people who don't want to be there or don't know how to try, like the people who sit in the back at dodgeball, you're not going to have fun. And you have to be on a team for volleyball. You can't single player volleyball. Water polo, eh. Again, it's not there for me because you can't like see half of the action, that half being the bottom half of their body. It takes a lot of skill to do though, but you know, I could not care less for it. Weightlifting isn't. I don't consider it a sport for the same reason um, I put skateboarding down here, but way more. Because skateboarding, you're actually doing something. Weightlifting, you're just lifting something heavy. Wrestling, uh, definitely not as good as any of the other contact sports, in my opinion. Like judo, because you get to see people get thrown around and stuff. But wrestling is cool. I think it is very cool to watch. Um, you can see how fast they move around and stuff. It's good to watch. B. Curling, who cares? D tier. Darts, same thing as billiards. Or not same thing as billiards, but same thing as bowling. It's just the same thing every time. Fishing is not a sport. Mixed martial arts, S tier, easy. Although I am not willing to go into the octagon myself. It's very entertaining to watch most of the time because there are some times where they just get knocked out immediately. But like those big fights, they're cool to watch. They're very entertaining. Now I'm just gonna go through down the tier list and sort everything out. Table tennis I think is the best. Then the UFC, then the ball guy. This one's pretty well ordered. Alright, let's think about this. Wrestling versus judo. I did say earlier that wrestling was not as good as judo, but now that I think of it, judo, you're just fighting to see who gets a point, a score, who scores first. Whereas in wrestling, it's who wins. So I'm gonna actually switch the places and knock judo down just for that. Rugby, again, I mean it's not my cup of tea. It's basically football, but you know. Yep, C tier is pretty ordered. D tier. Do I want to order D tier? I feel like there are a lot of boring things in D tier. Yeah, I'll just order the top half, S through C. and leave D and angers me unordered. So that's going to be my tier list. Guys, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.